everyone, welcome back to the It's a Mind Game podcast. My name is Jade. I'm a personal trainer and mindset coach specializing in female specific training. And I'm here with my dear friend, HA and fertility expert, nutritionist, supermom, awesome woman, soul server. What else can I say? Hello, Claudia.
You do all my intros to every single podcast that I go to, do all my videos. Hello, Jade. How are you, my love?
Oh, I'm so excited to see you. And look, my intros come from the heart. I had no idea I was going to say that. It just felt good as I said it. And I'm so glad that I did.
Thank you. It felt really good listening to that.
Now, Claudia, we are here today to talk about an exceptionally hot topic, especially for women who are either about to embark on their HA recovery journey, they're in the midst of it, or they're on the tail and they've had their 1 period, 2 periods, 3 periods, and that is body recomposition. First up, what would you define as a body recomposition?
Body recomposition for me is a stage that happens more when your hormones are back in balance, when you can really play around with what your body looks like and how you feel, especially in relations to the training. Body recomp is something that can happen at any stage of recovery anyway, but that's something that I normally focus on, especially towards the end of the recovery journey, when your period we know that is just around the corner, or when we already have a few periods under our belt. And a nice way to describe it is just playing around with what your body can do, playing around with how your body feel, and really tap into their intuition. Obviously, if you look for what body recomp really is in Wikipedia or Instagram, you're gonna get a really different description to what I've just mentioned. But that's my understanding on, or the way that I look at it.
I love that answer, and I think it's perfect because a body recomposition, it should be playful and it should invite curiosity. We want to step away from that aggressive, there is only this way to do it. Because often that's what caused HA in the first place, is we must abide by these particular rules and we must never have any flexibility or spontaneity. When the reality is, if you look at women, we'll stick to women, who have been successful in achieving a body that they love, they enjoy, they have a regular cycle, it's quite common you'll see that flexibility in their personality and their character. Like if you say, let's go out for lunch, it's like, yeah, let's go out for lunch. I'm probably going to go a little bit deep here, but I think if you've had an eating disorder and you've got this certain intuition about people's energy towards food, like you can see when someone's a hell yes, and it's a real hell yes, and it's a hell yes, I've got plans to make this okay. Do you get that too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that when we are talking about body recomp, we think straight away about the masculine energy of that controlling behaviors around food, around training, and it doesn't have to be. And before we press record, you actually mentioned that with your clients, you periodize the training sessions based on how they feel. And I feel exactly the same way when it comes to nutrition, because we are all very different. We cannot stick to the same plan each and every day of the cycle. And if we want to see real gain, and if we want to let go of over controlling our body image, and also our food choices, we need to bring in that beautiful curiosity and tapping into the feminine energy. And for that to happen, we need to welcome the flexibility that you just mentioned, and that intuition, and also the fun, the fun of really seeing what your body's capable of doing.
I think the hardest part about trusting that is we've had such a long period of time where we've felt like we must abide by rules in order to achieve a physique. And it's really not until you practice, I guess, how we teach women how to eat and to train, that there is still a structure. Like, let's be honest, discipline does equal freedom. There is a certain discipline that comes with you do need to train. You can't grow muscle, let's say, without showing up to the gym. And you can't perhaps shift your body fat percentage without being conscious about your food choices. But there's a difference between conscious decision making and obsession. So we're very much talking about being intentional with our choices, but not obsessed with them. And I think if you can look at it from that way, and I'd love to hear your input on this, the hardest part about women jumping into that lane and wholeheartedly trusting it is it goes against so much wiring of less food, more training
Mhm.
that was just thrown down our throat into actually fueling more equals train better, which equals better muscles, better composition, better health, better hormones, better everything. It's this beautiful catalyst if we can actually do more in, again, a sensible manner. What are your thoughts on that? Women going from less is best on the food front to actually, no, we need to fuel the engine.
Mm. It really pains me seeing women because I still see a lot of them that wants to gain a certain body and they still go to the gym, let's say 5 to 6 times a week, very early in the morning. They train on a fasted state. They spend hours on the treadmill or elliptical machines, and they're still depriving themselves from food choices that are really going to bring the changes into their life.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is really important for me is for women that really wants to recomp to maintain an energy intake that is sufficient and slightly more than sufficient so that you can really grow muscles. Because we cannot, well, there are a couple of things to say here. If you want to see change, you have to change. So you cannot continue doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different body type to randomly appear out of the blue. Secondly, when we're talking about body recomp, we need to take the nervous system and our cortisol level into consideration. If you wake up every single morning at 5 a.m. and you go to the gym and you spend hours doing cardio, you're going to kill your chances of actually having the body that you're looking for. And thirdly, you cannot be in an energy deficit if you want to see muscles growing because it's biologically impossible. It just does not happen. And if you are in a caloric deficit and you have a little bit of muscles, I will also encourage you to check those muscles. Are they strong muscles? Are the muscles that can lift things, that can allow you to, pick up a luggage when you are on a plane and put it on the, how do you call it, Jade, please? The overline compartment.
I'm just gonna say, that little spot above your head. I've got no idea
That
what it's
one,
called. I
the
could see
little
you
spot
hinting
above.
towards it. I'm like, don't look at me. I've got no idea. The thing where the bag
Fantastic.
goes.
That one. So it's not only about going to the gym and being able to lift 4 kilos weight. It's also about taking that outside of the gym. Do you feel strong? Do you feel that you have a strong body? And those are really questions that are important for me when working with a woman and understanding where she wants to be and how she would like to feel.
Can I ask your thoughts on this? Because personal experience, I've gone through a body recomp since having Ruben, and uh, for the most part, I don't track anything because I just eat whatever my body tells me, and for the most part, they're clean choices because I just like eating that way. However, when I did decide to track, because I thought, oh my gosh, I am eating a lot of food and I'm feeling amazing, and my body is losing fat. What the heck is going on? This goes against all the rules. And this is after, I've been a personal trainer since 2010. I had HA 6 years ago. I've been in this game a long time,
Mm.
and I'm still observing things and going, I think it's actually true what they say. You eat more, you train better, you look better, you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was so curious. I'm just going to track my calories. I'm just going to see what macros I'm getting. And when I was breastfeeding Ruben, I was in 3 to 3,500 calories a day. Now,
Mm.
myself 6 years ago, holy moly, I would have thought I would have been an elephant consuming that much. And I was training 3 times as much. So I don't do any kind of conscious cardio. I I train once 5 days a week. Sometimes it's three because life gets, but it's very casual, very fun, but still periodized, but it's not intense the way it used to be. And I was mind blown because when I did my little TDEE calculator based on what I should be consuming, I was about 1,000 calories over.
Oh, that's a killer.
Right.
That TDE.
And
Oh, goodness.
thankfully, when I looked at it, I was like, I've got no emotional attachment to an app telling me what I should be eating because whatever I'm doing, my body is going, here, thank you. This is amazing. You can look better. You can train better. You can feel better. No calculator's ever going to convince me otherwise, right? When my
Mm.
body is saying thumbs up. And then, so I carried on. I stopped breastfeeding and I naturally felt my appetite drop, right? Because I'm ravenous when I'm breastfeeding, even with Casima. Oh my God. And then I tracked again, and look, I was more around 2,500. Looked it up
Mm.
on the TD. I'm curious. I'm way over once again for
Of
a
course.
non-breastfeeding woman. And thankfully, no emotions. I'm just like, well, doesn't really matter, does it? Because I'm so happy with the path that I'm on. But I'm curious, because you are the expert in this field, what are your thoughts on TDE calculators versus what women actually need? And obviously, I'm sure there's room for variation where it does work for some, doesn't work for others. But overall, what's your opinion? I'm so curious.
About TDE calculators or also
Yeah,
calorie counting in general? Yeah.
both.
So TDE calculators that can be very, very scary. And what women fail to understand is that that's just an estimate, first of all. So the TDE calculators, they don't really know how much you need to survive. But once again, it's a number that it's meant to allow you to survive. It's not a number that is going to allow you to thrive. If intuitively you understand that you need more, then I would say just chuck the TD calculator away. It may work for some people when they're doing body build comp, for example, and they have to follow a very strict caloric meal plan. It doesn't work for the average woman, especially in the fertile window. Women in the
Mm,
fertile window should really
understood.
check away the TD calculators. If you're breastfeeding, it's completely useless. Completely useless. If you have too many muscles on your body, meaning that you have been training for many months, many years, and you're really showing your muscles, once again, completely useless. So I would definitely say don't rely on it too much. In terms of calorie counting, that's an interesting question. First of all, when it comes to body recomp and understanding how to eat, if you have no idea, instead of just tapping into your intuitive self, unless like you have years of experience and you
Mm.
are doing the work as well, I definitely say work with someone that can run the numbers for you, that can check your symptoms, that can understand what is really going on and can guide you towards the right direction. I've I used to be completely against calorie counting because do we need another external tools to run our day, to consume our thoughts and so on and so forth? Absolutely, yes. Right now, I understand that it can have a part when someone has completely shifted the relationship with food and is actually looking to eat more and move less, because sometimes the calorie counters in that way they can be very reassuring and they can be utilized in a different way, meaning there may be a woman that is not seeing gain at the gym. She checks her calories, she sees that she's averaging 1,700 per day. We work together, we aim for 2,000 within the space of 5 weeks, let's say, and then she's using the calorie counter as a way of challenging herself. I'm going to get up to 2,000 calories, and that's how I'm going to be able to do it. And I'm not going to show up to the gym every single day. I'm going to reduce my activity output to 3 days a week, for example. And then for that reasons, in that environment, I'm actually pro calorie counting. But once again, it really depends on if a woman gets triggered by numbers and the relationship that she has with her own body and food. So once again, Jade, is something that we both do. There is never a cookie cutter approach, and it's more about working and understanding the woman that we have in front of us and really understanding which kind of goals that she has, and also having a conversation around expectation, especially when we are looking at changing disorder behaviors around food and training, and when it comes to changing our body, because you may know more than anyone out there that if you go to the gym for months and you start eating a little bit more, you're not going to see that many changes, because like everything else, getting better, getting stronger takes a little bit of time.
And it's the best investment you can make.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like I can honestly say I'm blessed in the way that I was a gymnast as a kid, and as soon as I stopped gymnastics, I was in the gym. And the only reason I bring it up is just that time, and we're so quick to compare ourselves. And I've had comments recently that, you know, Casina started school, I'm around a whole new group of women, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, look at your arms, look at this, look at that. And don't get me wrong, thank you. I appreciate that because I do put time and energy into my
Mm.
training and my nutrition. But the thing is, I've also been training technically since I was 8 years old,
Yeah,
right? That you can't rush that. And I don't say that to push anyone away or deter them, but as in sometimes there can be a place in the HA space where it's like walk away from exercise because it's too hard. And it's like,
mm,
no, that's exactly why you lean in because you've got to learn how to do it for yourself. And same with nutrition.
yeah,
Sometimes, if you're a weight loss client, it can feel really hard. There's too many advice out there. I don't know what to do, da 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 da. And it's like, but that's what makes it worth it. That's what makes it worth your time and your investment. Because 5 years from now, are you going to wish you learned how to do it, or are you going to regret it? And I don't think there will be anyone who put in the work 5 years later is going to go, oh God, I wish I never did that. And
absolutely.
And I love what you said about the calorie counting because I feel like there can be a bit of a stigma around that too. And we've all got to remember calorie counting, it's a tool. Like the app is a tool. If you're using it and you're obsessed, it's not the appropriate tool for you. But if you can use it and be objective about it and go, hey, I need to hit a target, I need to see my protein hit whatever grams per day, or I need to include X amount of carbohydrates, and you're using that to encourage positive change, what a great tool.
Absolutely. Personally speaking, last year I was going through a rough patch of brain fog, exhaustion. I was not sleeping well. I could see that I was not getting muscle. I was losing weight. I was not feeling that great with myself. I had started to lose hair. And even though my period never disappeared, I knew intuitively that something had to change. I did my blood test, nothing really came out of it. I went to see a GP, and they didn't give me any resources of information in terms of what to do. So I decided to treat myself as if I was one of my clients. And I actually have to mention my darling husband that invited me to do so. And I wrote down a treatment protocol for myself. And in that treatment protocol, I required for the first week to actually track my caloric intake and just see how much I was exercising, how much I was walking, the amount of hours that I was sleeping at night. I was writing everything down. And it became so clear to me in that very moment that I definitely needed more nourishment. I needed an extra rest day, and I had to cut down on the amount of steps that I was doing daily, because sometimes working from home, sometimes you actually need to get out. You need to get out to,
Absolutely.
yeah, in between sessions, I always have a 10 minutes walk. But on busy days, I was having 10 minutes walk 8 times a day. So, that, and that is 80 minutes of walking plus the drop off, the pickup, and so on and so
Chasing
forth.
children. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 20,000 steps at the end of the day, which I had no idea that I was averaging. And once I made those changes, and once I decided also to sign up for a gym, going only twice a week for the first 6 months just to show up, and I kept increasing my food intake, and I started sleeping so much better. That was the first thing that really changed for me. My hair, they grew back completely within a couple of months. I had a full set of hair again. I have gray hair, but also the gray hair, they started to show up a little bit less compared to before. So it was showing that my body was in a less heightened cortisol state, let's say. So why am I sharing this? Simply because sometimes, even for us, that we are professionals, that we have been doing this since forever, really, sometimes we need to come back to the core foundations, and sometimes we can use external tools just to get support. And back at the time, I was very lucky because I had you as well. I had you on my corner. So whenever I had a questions in regards to exercise, I could send you a message. Whenever I had a questions about nutrition, I have a 5 years university degree, and there were also the other team members in the community. But not everyone has access to that. And I think it's really a shame that people push through and try to do it on its own, because it's so much fun when you actually do it with someone else and you're like, hey, do you want to see my gains? Taking a picture, just send it through. I'm like, yeah, today I managed to rest completely. I just walk for 2Ks. I think that those are the beautiful things that we never share with the people around us unless they understand this whole journey.
Yeah. I love everything about what you shared just then that I don't even know where to start with.
Because I talked a
Anything else?
lot.
No, because it's so multifaceted, right? It's like you did an audit on your life because you've
Yeah.
got the education to do that. And plenty of women that we work with, can do those audits once they finish with us, because it's not a forever after journey, right? It's like you get the healing that you need, you learn the things that you need to, and then you spread your wings and you go off with the rest of your life. HA isn't forever. It's an experience. That's all. It's an experience, one of many, many. And there's so much power in knowing that we can do an audit at any time. And I like that language so much more than, oh, I've wrecked something. You know, my energy's crappy or my hair's falling out, or because we can get that. And then we don't get in a real I can fix it energy. We just get in a throw the hands up, what's the point? And it's a crappy energy. You know, and this is something we'll dive into again because we actually want to talk about periods and personal experiences.
Yeah.
I did an audit recently because my period was a 52-day cycle, which is uncommon for me. But I won't go into it now. But there was a reason for it, and I did an audit, and it's like, oh, there it is, and it's okay to have the misstep. The misstep is a blessing, really. I'm going to halt because I'm going to go on a whole other tangent with you, Claudia. We were talking about body recomp. As we come to a close on yet another juicy podcast, for the women who are dying to know, and perhaps they've heard it before, they just need to hear it again. The body you recover your period with, are you stuck with that body forever?
Oh my goodness, no, not a chance. Also, let's stop the shame around training. I still get clients when they get the period back and they come to me, they show up to the one-on-one sessions and they're like, towards the end of the call, they're like, and I would like to go back into training. They almost
They
whisper
whisper. I
it.
know. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
because you know, there is shame around there. I've
Yeah.
recovered my period. I should be so grateful and I'm trying to get pregnant, but yet they still would like to move. Let's stop the shame around training. Training is healthy. Training is something our body's meant to do. What we have been doing, it has been misusing our body, overtraining, which is very different from training in a very purpose and mindful way. And also when it comes to nourishment, it's more about understanding what your body needs. So it's not always a number. So those 2,500 calories, oh my goodness, it's getting my head in because it's not enough for some people and it's possibly too much for someone that is start their recovery journey. They panic, they bloat, they feel sick, they stop, they come back 1 year later. In terms of the body keeps on changing. I had women that came to us with a BMI that was around 23 and they didn't have a period.
Mm-hmm.
And 6 months on the track, the BMI went down to, I know that I'm not a big fan of talking about BMIs.
But it's a good reference point. Yeah, we all understand. Yeah.
BMI went down to 21 while training with a period. So BMI 23, no period. BMI 21, training with a period. 6 months time frame.
Yeah.
If you do the right things, your body's gonna work. Your body's not a mean evil that wants you to be unhappy
And fat.
and fat.
Sorry, we've got to say it, right? Because that's the
Fat is
biggest
just a
fear.
word.
My
It's
body's only
just a
happy
word.
if I'm fat. It's only happy if I'm this. That's the story you're creating. Stop telling yourself lies.
Well, that's just a
Yeah.
lie that
And don't get me
people
wrong,
are
if you want to
creating
be in a bigger
themselves.
body and that brings you joy, cool. But that whole my body can't handle it, don't do that to yourself because it's not fair. You're actually cutting yourself off at the knees. Your body's capable of so much. You just need to give it the tools to cope. That's it.
Mm. And plus, let's also say that fat is just a word. It's just a way of defining a particular type of body, which is not negative, which is not bad. If it doesn't come with health consequences.
Right.
So let's stop the drama around it. Let's stop the conversation of I'm not gonna start the recovery journey because otherwise I'm gonna be fat and no one is gonna like me. Well, let's talk about in 20 years when you have osteoporosis, when you can't have babies, when you have brain fog, and you're facing a future of dementia and Alzheimer. Now, I'm going to be fear mongering, which is something that I really don't want to be because I'm not. But, allow yourself the chance to try it out because for us, for example, it has worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
And for most of our clients as well, obviously.
And education's changed. And I think, hands down, can you recomp after HA recovery, even potentially during HA recovery? Yes, absolutely yes. Yes, you can. That's the answer. Yes. Do you need to follow a different approach to how you recomped your body the very first place that caused HA?
Yes.
You can't do that same approach. That's
No.
the big no. You can't do that again because you will get HA again. So can you recomp? Absolutely. Can you go to the gym? Yes. Can you drop body fat? Yes. Can you eat clean? If you want to, can you eat some junk food? Of course you can. Like, you can actually do it all. But you need to step away from that old, mundane, only HA recovery looks like this. Because it's a very old story. Like,
And
I mean,
it's
that
not
was our
serving
story 6 to
anyone.
10 years ago, Claudia. That was the info we had.
Yeah, when we started the
We're
whole
not there
process.
anymore.
No.
We are not there anymore. We are so far ahead. So if you just on a rant, if you are in that realm where you feel like that's the story of HA recovery, please expose yourself to other information because there are so many other ways you can recover in a way that facilitates good health, good well-being, healthy body weight, joy.
Mm.
Tangent over.
Yeah, done.
Claudia, is there anything you want to finish off with before we wrap up this juicy podcast?
I'm just dropping the mic and mic drop and looking forward to our next conversations about our periods.
Yes, the wonky ones.
Yeah, the wonky ones,
Let's talk
the
about the wonky
long and
ones.
the too short ones. Absolutely. Let's bring it in.
Oh, Claudia, I cannot wait to talk wonky periods with you in the next one. But for now, ladies, I'll leave Claudia's details in the comment section below and as well as my own. But thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.